Hey y'all, Kraken Latte here. Patch 925 is just around the corner now and is bringing a handful of awesome things. One of those things is going to be the Blood Knight armor set specifically for Blood Elf Paladins. We'll be able to get this set after a new questline coming with this patch. While this will be easy to get, the catch is this. You have to be a Blood Elf Paladin specifically, who is level 60 and Exalted with Silvermoon. Again, all super easy stuff, but if you've just made a Blood Elf recently so that you can get this armor, and you're already level 60 and still don't have Exalted Silvermoon rep, then what do? Lucky for you, I have a simple trick that's a tried and true old method, and I use this myself anytime I need it. You see, there are some older reputations that you can use tabards to gain status with. These only seem to come from BC, Wrath, and Kata expansions, but you'll notice that the main capital city factions are there, including Silvermoon. And this is fabulous news. So, this method is technically called championing, and here's how this works. First, you have to put on the tabard of the reputation you want to gain status with. Not all reputations work with this, of course, so if you're unsure if that faction tabard will give you rep, check the tooltip of the tabard you're wearing, and it will tell you. Here's a new one by comparison, which does not give rep, so you can see the difference. Now, while wearing the tabard you want, any mob that you kill within a dungeon will give you rep with that faction. Lesser mobs give less, while bosses give the most. And for dungeons that have both normal and heroic modes, heroic does give more total rep, but heroics are daily locked, while normals you can do 10 times every hour. I am uncertain if you can gain rep with this method in dungeons newer than Cataclysm, simply because I've never cared to try. Why? Well, there's a specific dungeon I use for this method every time. Botanica! Sorry, I have to say it like that. Makes me think of Metallica every time. Anyways, Botanica is found way up in Netherstorm of Outland, and it's this leftmost crystal ship thingy at Tempest Keep. The reason this dungeon is awesome is because it not only is it loaded with mobs, all of which give rep, it is also a dungeon with an exit at the end. An exit! You can literally walk out right at the end. No need for killing yourself or using some crazy group leave trick to get out. And since it's super old content now, that means it's super face roll. Can you guess what you do from here? With that tabard on, and perhaps any rep buffs that you may have on, like from Darkmoon Fair if you want, though that is not required, just go in and clear the dungeon repeatedly. I recommend doing heroic first for the extra rep of the day, and then do normal until you either hit lockout, get bored, or hit exalted, depending on how fast you are. As a tip, unless you use an ability that drops aggro, you can actually pull everything in the entire dungeon all the way to the end and kill it all there with the last boss. For the most part anyways. I do stop briefly to kill each boss as I run into them, just because they tend to take forever to follow and may actually glitch out, which could cost you both rep and time depending on the problem. So I like to kill the bosses along the way while dragging every single mob in the instance along with me. If you want, you can also use speed items to boost up your times, like potions or engineering. But remember, you can only do 10 instances per hour. So if you move too fast, you'll hit lockout and have to wait, which sucks. This usually takes me anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes depending on how hard I actually try, and depending on if you start at a higher rep, like Honored instead of Friendly. But you can start at neutral too and still use this method all the way to Exalted with the Botanica dungeon. In addition to that, if you're not sure about the times on your instance lockouts, there is an add-on I like to use that can keep track of all this for you, and it keeps track of it across alts as well. That add-on is called Saved Instances. It works fabulously, and it will even warn you if you're about to hit instance lockout and tell you how long you have to wait for the next ones. I super recommend it if you're going to be doing this more than once, and it's a lifesaver. And as a bonus bit of footage for all of you visual learners out there, here is one full run of a Botanica run-through from me. Okay, so here is a sort of visual walkthrough of how I do the Botanica. It's not, you know, 100% perfect. This is just kind of me going for it. So I am on my Blood Elf Paladin because I need Silvermoon City rep so I can get the Blood Knight set that's coming out. I am part of the Night Fae Covenant so that I have Soul Shape for a little extra speed, and I have my Minari Training Amulet Heirloom. That way, it gives you a little speed boost for like 10 seconds or whatever on a 5-minute cooldown, so you can use it in here once at least. So that's my little setup here. I'm not geared, obviously. This is a very fresh alt. Just got her to 60 the other day. So let's start with a run, and the easiest thing to do is to just kind of run through everything and pull it all the way to the end of the dungeon, as I mentioned earlier in the guide. So it might be a little hard to pick them up on the first go, but as soon as you get a ball forming behind you, it'll be very easy because the mobs that run through other mobs that aren't pulled yet will pull them for you. Which is also why that's so dangerous in dungeons when you're not trying to do this. But that's okay. So I'm going to pull through all of these a little more manually at first, and then I don't have to run through them so specifically for the rest of the dungeon. So just sit back, relax. I'm not going to speed this up in case you wanted to see me do this. And as you can see, I've already done this a few times. Twice, actually. I did it once on Heroic and once on Normal already to get myself refreshed. And I'm already 2120 into Honored so that you can see how much this normal run will give. Heroic will give a wee bit more, but like I mentioned, it's, you know, that's only once a day. Alright, first boss. I like killing the bosses because the bosses like to glitch out, and they give a lot. Where is she? There it is. She gave me 300 rep with Silvermoon. You don't want to pass that up, so you definitely want to make sure you kill the bosses. And they glitch out if you try to pull them to the end sometimes. So, you know, which could cost you like another half of a run. So we don't want to do that. Alright, let's go ahead and kick in my neck here. Oh yeah, and I'm in protection just because it's my favorite spec of the paladin specs. You can do this in you can do this in prot, you can do this as any class, any race, for any of the reps that I listed earlier in the video. In my case, this time it is Silvermoon. So that's the one I'm doing. I've been doing this for years. When I first started worrying about repping things back in MOP, a friend I had at the time, well, they were more of an acquaintance, I barely knew them, but they had told me to do this. They said just go run Botanica, you know, with the Tabard that you have, and you can champion that faction. So I thought that was kind of neat. And I've never forgotten it. It's been a very super helpful tip. I've used it many times. I've used it to get all my heritage armors because for all the heritage armors, you know, like the base races, you need your faction capitals and all that. A little bit of coffee. Exalted. So, nice. Getting some Mog in the process. I never do this with, like, plate. So, as you can see, we are gradually forming a ball of death. They will stun you, slow you occasionally, but it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. If you're like a faster class, you can usually keep ahead of them pretty well. Except for when I get stuck in shit. There we go. Wakey wakey, everybody. Hello, mutated horrors. And depending on how fast I am, I can usually do each run in about between 4 and 6 minutes. You know, depending on how hard I'm actually trying and how many actual speed boosts I have. Like, I could get more than what, you know, I'm using here, like the training amulet and the soul shape ability, but I don't really care. You know, I'm not trying to go for like perfection here. This will be good enough. So, well, these little dudes, everybody back there is still coming, don't worry. I just got ahead of them so they can stop frickin' stunning me. And we're gonna pull this guy. Kill him. And I'm just gonna throw down Consecration while I loot this dude. Everyone. Look at that. I'm getting a rep with others too, apparently. Friendly with Orgrimmar, Thunderbluff, and Darkspear. And look at that. 56-25 through Honored now. And it looks like I still have one more guy that's trying to catch up. Let's go kill him. Come on. You know you want to die. There we go. Easy peasy. That was it. And then when you get out of the instance, you just reset it and go back in, and that's it. You just do that all the way until Exalted. Ta-da! And there we have it. If you think I've missed information, or you want to request I do a specific guide, let me know in the comments below. Even if I don't answer you, I just might add your idea to my list. As always, thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's never too latte.